Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 4, Episode 6. This episode was called Love is One Thing, Knowledge is Another. And let me tell you something. Knowledge was definitely given on this episode, and if you watched it, awesome, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, get it and you just wait on the review. Yeah, there was a lot that happened. And if you can take a peek at the show, if you haven't already, do it, because it's going to give you way more information than I could give you, especially when it comes down to one of the couples. So let me see. So before I begin, if you haven't already joined the family, think about subscribing. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, leave your comments. I'll be dropping the link, so if you want to come on live to talk to me, you can do that as well. Also, too, when we reach 2,000, we will be doing a raffle for a $50 giveaway. At this time, it's only open to U.S. applicants, like I'm at my job, right? U.S. residents only, and that's going to happen as soon as we reach that 2,000 threshold. And thank you to everybody who has actually clicked the subscribe button and have been part of the family. Either you joined today or you've been with us for our whole entire journey. We appreciate you. So thank you again. So again, we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 4, Episode 6. Love is one thing, knowledge is another's. Now, we actually saw all the couples last night, including Debbie, who finally made it to Morocco. But if you saw my review last week, I'm going to say it again for this week. We're not getting a lot of Debbie right now. She was the last person to go over to Morocco. Everyone else has been where they're supposed to be to meet with their significant other for a good 3 to 4 weeks now. So I'm just kind of curious as to why Debbie is late to the party, you know? So, but she is late, and hey, she's finally there now. And I guess we'll get to see how the relationship progresses. And she actually heard herself a bombshell as well when, Usama told her something for next week's episode. So I guess we'll see Debbie a little bit more next week. So let me drop the link. So if anybody wants to join, they can. If not, we'll continue in the chat and go from there. I hope everybody is doing well. We're doing pretty good out here. And hopefully you all too. With the weather, the weather's been crazy for everybody. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and give a quick overview and go from there. So maybe you won't be kept too long for this show today. All right, so the quick overview is we have Gabe and Isabel, Chris and Jamie, Nicole and Mahmoud, Jen and Rishi, Danielle and Johan, and Debbie and Osama. Now, I've seen a few things online with Danielle talking about her journey and the who, what, when, where, and why that she's going through with Johan. And she was kind of like putting her haters on blast for talking about her on the show. And I'm thinking, Danielle, I mean, are people, unless they're in her DM, I mean, like, who's really hating on you? Because the way that it's presented on the show is you gave Johan the okie doke about the reasons why you were in the Dominican Republic. But that's just my opinion. So let me start with Gabe and Isabel. So the quick overview is Gabe and Isabel. He still hasn't met with her family to tell them about his status of him being trans. He's trying to get his business off the ground because he started his business for people who need different types of underwear and undergarments in Colombia. That's how they met. Last week's episode, he was trying to get the materials for that. And he ran into a roadblock where the material that he actually needed, or the stamps or his logo, whatever, is in Miami, and he couldn't get them in time before his visa ran out. So when we saw him last night, He is with Isabel. They're actually going to a doctor to see if he can get his top surgery done. Apparently, he feels like he needs more pec muscles, and so he's going to talk to the doctor about that. But then we were also given a master class of Gabe and his bottom half and about their intimacy and things like that. And yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. So I'll touch on that. I'll circle back around as I'm getting a quick overview of the show. And then we have Chris and Jamie. There's a lot of issues going on with Chris. There's lots of health things going on with her. In this episode, she's feeling overwhelmed by Jamie about maybe not having things necessarily set up in her own apartment. So they go out furniture shopping. And I just thought that Chris at first was real comfortable while they're furniture shopping, just plopping down on that mattress in the store and just have her feet up to just talk about whatever. I was like, wow. I'm like, I've never been that comfortable in a furniture store to do that at all. And so then we moved to Nicole and Mahmoud. Listen, she's packing again. I'm tired of Nicole. Listen, you either leaving or you're staying. Nothing's going to change with Nicole. And I guess Mahmoud has gotten over her too. And he's telling her, listen, I don't think we could be together. So he gets upset. She's packing, like I said, and he leaves and comes back later, and she's going to act like she doesn't know why. Like, why are you telling me this? Things like that. So, and then moving to Jen and Rishi, this whole episode with her just cracked me up in general, starting with her friend, the exercise guru. Okay, I know they do different kinds of exercises everywhere, but that class is what threw me off. I literally paused the show. I was like, what is he doing? Like, is this for real? But I guess it was. But the bottom line is Jen, again, needs reassurance from her friend, this friend that she met in India, along with with her friends and family that she didn't necessarily get before she came over to India, about why the arranged marriage thing would have to come about with her and Rishi. You know what I'm saying? Like, how come she don't know this going in? She was there before and everything else. Do your research. That should be the name of the show. Do your research. That's just me. And then, like I said, Danielle and Johan, I mean, they just have ran into problems ever since she came back to the Dominican to, figure out where they're going to live. And then Johan, knowing right now he's not going to get his American dream. And then she's upset about him having a relationship in the past with someone who had a baby. Like, how is that still your business? Like, I don't understand why she was upset with that still. And then Debbie and Osama, you know what? Well, they say, bless her heart, Debbie. Like, seriously, bless her heart. I mean, she was really gazing at Osama like she was a schoolgirl. Like, truly, truly, truly. So, but that was just an overview of what happened, and we can get more in detail as the show progresses. So, hello to the Jazz Fin Show, and I see you backstage. I'll bring you up in a moment. I'm turning Nicole too. Okay. Yes. Right. Who converts and then ask questions later? Ooh, I would love to hear your take on it too. So let me bring Rory to the stage.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back.
No problem. I saw because I had you on my notifications, so I figured you were talking about yesterday's episode or what kind of sense yesterday's episode was. Because here's the way I see it. Nicole just married Mamu just on a whim, like, because it seems like a whim marriage, right? Because he's not really interested in her. She's not really fully invested in him. She's wasting money going back and forth.
Right.
Putting people through unnecessary stress, just especially her family, just because she wants to try to make something out of nothing, right? Because I know Mahmoud's family does not like Nicole at all. They just only tolerate her because of him. Because they love him, so they'll tolerate her, right?
Right.
And the thing is, when she was going to Mahmoud, oh, we got to move into our own apartment and we got to get out of here and everything else. She doesn't realize that a lot of cultures like Caribbean culture and other cultures is just like you have multi-generations inside the home.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you can't just be like, you can't tell a man to up and leave his family because anything could happen, right? He could lose, like something could happen to his mom and he has to go back, or or anything, like, because it can't be all about her and everything else. If she wants to leave, let her go. Let her go. And if she's going to leave him, divorce him. Just get it over with. Pull the Band-Aid off and divorce him. Don't keep bringing him along because his family's getting frustrated. He's getting frustrated. He just wants you gone. Yeah. Because every time you're crying. So that makes zero sense. Like,
I was really surprised that Mahmoud took it there and was like, you know what, I can't take this. If you want to go, go. And then Nicole, when he does leave, cools off to come back. She's like, what do you mean? You told me to leave. First of all, Nicole is 38. He's 30.
So, I didn't even know she was 38. I guess it's like because some small prints I can't see.
Okay.
It's not intentional, but I just can't see it. So I didn't even see the part of 38. I thought she was 32. To be really honest.
Yes, I purposely looked at her age last night because I'm like, how old is Nicole? Because this back and forth is something that, someone way younger would be doing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it said 38 and 30. I was like, okay, so she really knows better. When you're on the up, like if you're 38, 39 or 48, 49, whatever, you can almost rest assured roll you to the next age. So Nicole is technically 40. She ought to know better. Now, this is not her first rodeo.
No, it's not, because the thing is, it's just like when I found out Nicole was 3 years younger than me, because I'm 41, and I'm just like, I will go back and forth on choices for programs for university and whatever, but I won't go back and forth in a relationship, because there was one point myself in my life, I told my ex, I'm like, I can't have you in my life anymore because you proved to me that you are not with me for the long haul. Like, I'm sorry, you have to move on with your life. I'll move on with mine, because if I end up being super sick and I'm in the hospital, I know for a fact you won't be there. So you know what? It's better that we don't be anything to each other anymore. We were in each other's lives since we were like 14, 15. I'm like, now it's time for us to do fresh starts, I move forward, going off to school, chasing degrees. You could just like give your parents grandkids, Nicole should just let Mahmoud go, because he could find a pretty Muslim girl in Egypt,
Yes. You know what, Rory? I actually had a question for you in the chat last week. That was after it was on the replay. Okay. Someone asked, you had mentioned something about you had a contact or something, or you knew something about maybe the show or something. Someone wanted to know, like, they were trying to like dig in the business a little bit, like, who is it that you possibly know? Like, is it a producer or?
I don't know any producers. I don't know anybody. I live in Canada. I know no one.
Okay.
In the entertainment thing, I know no one. The reason I read a lot and I research. That's all I do. Okay. I don't know anybody in production. I don't know the company. I live in the Great White North.
Okay. That was someone asked me to ask you. I'm like, I don't know. So maybe you would say so. But yeah, but Nicole, she when she came on the screen, I really would wish they would put her like at the end, because she's hard to watch, because it's like, oh, here we go again. She's gonna be upset because she don't want to wear the hijab, and she don't want to wear, something that's not stylish. I'm like, why do we have to watch Nicole go through this? We're tired, at least I am, of Nicole.
That's the reason why she had that whole temper tantrum?
Yes.
Over a hijab? Are you serious right now? Yes. Like, oh my God.
Yes, it was over that, because they were supposed to go to the uncle's house to meet with them and everything else, but I guess we'll see it next week's episode. That, and then Mahmoud also learned that while she was at home in LA, she was wearing short sleeves and she was like, oh, honey, you didn't tell me you were doing that. She's like, yes, I did. No, you didn't. So that was an argument too. So yes, about the hijab to his uncle's house, where, show some respect. And then when she was at home lying and said she didn't wear short sleeves and that she's not praying. So it was just a whole bunch in like a short little segment of the episode. But Nicole knows this. If you converted, it's just like the Jasmine show said, who converts and asks questions later?
That makes zero sense. Is when you ask questions before you convert,
You're supposed to. You're definitely
because the thing is you can't be a part-time Muslim. That's like saying for me to be a part-time Catholic. That doesn't work. Because either you're in it fully or you're not. Like, because basically Nicole is either indecisive or just going through something closer to a midlife crisis. Because this is screaming midlife crisis. And then she's trying to be a cougar, but she ain't no cougar, because if she was a cougar, she wouldn't be crying so much.
Right.
She's in the bathroom, she's crying. She's on the bed, she's crying. She's packing up her clothes and she's crying. It's like, girl, make up your mind. Divorce him already or just do it in almonds.
I think she's crying because in my opinion, I think she thinks or feels that maybe, because I think before she came back over, that maybe Mamu was telling her, oh no, it's okay, you don't have to. When you knew good and well, just like she said at the airport, everything you left in Egypt is still waiting for you. Exactly. Nothing's changing. So I think she's crying because she's like, oh no, here we go again. I thought it would change, but it's not. And I thought he would have me on his side. No, absolutely not.
Because the thing is that she doesn't realize that her actions could put his whole family in danger.
In danger. Sharon, Nicole is 38 years old. And he's 32. Yes. In danger, yes. Mm-hmm.
Her actions could put his whole family in danger. At least with a few others. Right? That even with like Avery, at least she didn't decide to act a whole fool and put her husband in danger and his family.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. She converted and she did everything that had to be done within that religion. Just the reason Nicole's being like super wish-washy right now is because of the fact that now she's having buyer's remorse, right?
Yes.
Because she doesn't want to divorce her husband because she doesn't want to she doesn't want her friends to say, "Hey, I told you so." And she doesn't want to disappoint her family, but she's already disappointing her family as is doing this whole thing because none of her family members know this man. To be really honest.
Right, but you know what? It's not I don't even think it's I told you so from her friends and family. It's an I told you so from herself. Yeah. She knew this when she left, right? And she knew it when she returned. She was just hoping for a different outcome, which again, cultural beliefs are cultural beliefs. And she has honestly her nerve to think that it would be okay. You're in someone else's home.
Yeah.
You're in a joint family. You see how they're dressed. You see how she's doing everything. She's not praying. She just wants to sit at the bar. He told her specifically from last week. That's, she keeps pushing the agenda, which can, like you mentioned, get the whole family in type of trouble. Right.
Because when she decided to go meet his friends and everything else, you should have known a red flag of just like, hey, all his friends are guys and they're not going to bring the wives to wherever they're at because the situation is wherever they go. And if it's a restaurant that has an entertainer or whatever the situation is, they don't want their wives to be there.
Right. That's good. Right. The Jasmine show says, had she not converted, I would have had some sympathy for her. You would have, Jazz? So you still would have had sympathy for her? No.
I would have sympathy.
I can't roll with that one because she knew when she was there the first time. That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't have sympathy for her at all because the thing is that she was married to this man for a couple years. She doesn't bring anything to the table because she went to Egypt twice. She didn't bring anything to the table, not for his family, not for him, nothing. Like she brought nothing, And he thought that it's just like, okay, she's been in the States for a while. She'll probably bring something or, something for the family, at least to show some kind of respect, right? She brought nothing. She just only brought suitcases of all her clothes and she knows that the half the clothes that she has she can't wear down there, you know.
Right.
So he was at least trying to like kind of meet her halfway, going like, hey, let's go to this, let's like at least, you know, let's at least try to find something for you to wear to my uncle's house. She's just like, well, I don't want to wear the hijab, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you're in a country where the women are not treated, not even being treated to be on the same level as the men. So you knew this the first time you went to Egypt, and this is the second time you're there, and now you're just having this coming to Jesus moment.
Right. So the Jasmine show says she's still goofy but gets a little sympathy. And then you say, how long have they been married? I think it's 3 years, right? Did you hear that too, Rory, before? Is it 3 years? I think so.
Yeah, it's 3 years.
3 years. So let me just read the ending of the episode, what Mahmoud said. So Mahmoud said that everything you promised me, you never did. He later explained, I know she changed everything in her life, but I changed mine too. Let's see. She doesn't pray. She doesn't wear hijab. These things are all a big deal for me. This is why I was so clear when she said, I will take off my hijab. And I said, don't ask for more. I'm trying to show her it's not okay for me. Mahmoud goes on to say, this is how I am. I'm never going to change my mind about that, Nicole. And Nicole says, I'm never going to change my mind about it either. And then Mahmoud said, I think we cannot be together. So that's how the episode ended. And then, like I said, next week, we're going to see her with his family. And his family is saying to Mahmoud, why isn't she wearing hijab, a sweater, and different little things like that? Yeah. So they're chastising Mahmoud, you know, in their language. So I'm not sure how much of their language she knows, but he's being chastised. And I don't know if they're going to make it past another episode or two. I don't think so.
No, I think she's gonna go all the way back, because the thing is just like his family never wanted her to be there in the first place. Mm-hmm. They just kind of tolerated her, and plus she can't even give them any grandchildren, I don't think, right?
Oh, I'm not sure about her. I'm not sure about her fertility status,
or even have any interest of giving them any grandchildren. Because I don't think she has any interest of giving them any grandchildren. She just only wants the kind of marriage where she could just do whatever she wants, mm-hmm. and he just like blindly obeys type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move to Jen and Rishi. So what do we think about the exercise instructor, like the whole exercise scene? Did you see it or you didn't see it, Rory?
No. Oh, no, I saw it. I'm just like, what the blue hell was that? I go to the gym. The reason I don't do the training and stuff is like I prefer putting on a 2-hour podcast and start doing my cycles of just like strength training. Right. You know, like I don't need to be in a class where I'm just like jumping around, hooting and hollering. That's just stupid.
Right. The class was like all over the place, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe they do different exercise. Maybe it was trying to do Zumba with a little bit of, I don't know, cardio or something.
Because that's what Lauren was saying, of Lauren and Alexi, because they were saying Lauren was saying that on Pillow Talk last night. Like, oh, they might be doing Zumba, and I'm like, that is not Zumba. I've seen Zumba. I've seen Zumba
too, but you know,
that is not Zumba.
That maybe that was his version. I don't know, since he's a personal trainer. But after the class was over, I just thought it was interesting again with Jen, how she's asking him, what does he think about the arranged marriage? I'm like, what? I mean, this is his culture too. What do you mean? What does he think? You know, so
I don't know why she needs validation from everybody if she's making the right decision. Mm-hmm. It's just because she's 47, I think.
Mm-hmm. You ready backstage?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. She's 47.
She's 47. So you're telling me that you can't make up your own mind? Like, you're with this man for 2 years, engaged to him for 2 years. This is the first time you guys are spending more time with each other. And you're telling me you're just like, I don't know if he wants to be with me. What? It's either he wants to be with you or he doesn't. My thing is that I think Rishi wants to keep Jen at that apartment that he bought. Mm-hmm. That raggedy apartment. So he does what his parents say. He marries a girl. He marries another girl through the arranged marriage, and then goes see Jen at night.
Oh, okay, that's different. Okay, so Rory, meet Jazz from the Jasmine Show.
Jazz.
Hi.
They also have a YouTube channel, so check her out. Write it down, check it out if you get a chance to.
Sure.
So go ahead, Jazz. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we're on Jen and Rishi. Did you want to touch on Nicole? You was in the comments with giving her sympathy. Like what?
I'm over Nicole.
Okay,
Nicole,
let's move
if I see her for another episode, I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Jen and Rishi. First of all, the exercise class. It was giving Bollywood jazzercise for people with no rhythm. That's exactly what it was giving.
Okay. It was
that makes sense now.
It was a mess.
It was such a mess because all of them, they were screaming like if they were going to get chased by the cocaine bear. So
not the cocaine bear.
So that's what it was giving me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a mess. I think Jen, I'm kind of over these like older women. Like they're dating somebody that's younger than them, and then they're like making it like they're being immature, but it's really everybody's immature is what it gives. I feel like Mahmoud is not immature though, but I think Rishi, like he had 2 years to say something to his parents, like, "Oh, I met somebody," and like bringing her around his family as a friend is like a red flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you want the family to accept her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they have to start asking about you without you being there." I'm like, that's gonna take a long time. Like, you need to man up and figure it out. And I think he's also trying to convince her that she doesn't want to be his wife once he showed her all the like stuff that the traditional Indian wife needs to do. Because I feel like he knows she's not with it.
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
She was saying that she's like, "Oh, Rishi," because she was telling this to the instructor, aka Bollywood version of Dr. Phil. She was just like, "Well, you know, Rishi said he loved my independence and this, that, whatever." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if he loved your independence so much, why doesn't he meet her halfway and, you know, give up some stuff? Because it looks like he's not giving up anything. Because when the next scene of their segment, he's showing up with a kite. He's like, "Hey, this is a festival. We can fly a kite." I'm like, you guys didn't even get furniture for that raggedy apartment homeboy found. Like, what? Now you want to fly a kite? Like the week before you wanted to do yoga on the roof. I'm like, yeah, so we're not gonna buy her no food, you know, like what's happening here?
I didn't think about the food aspect. Hopefully she's eating something, but I agree with both your points, and I also agree with you, Jazz, too, that I think he's getting her to see what you don't want to be here in India, because she will also be part of a joint family unit.
Yeah,
having to take over the work of the woman, the traditions, the clothing, because she was another one who balked at not wanting to wear the clothing.
Yeah, because he wanted, there was a nice outfit that the salesman, bless his heart, he had it just put onto his body like if he's the same size as Jen, and then put the little veil thing on his head, and then he says like, "Oh no, I don't want that. Can I just wear a nice blouse and pants?" And I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, she did. So, and she's giving me, it's giving, I don't cook. You know what I'm saying? When she's like, you know, I had to get up to what time to make tea? She's like, what? So, okay, so is she worried about the time, or just making something as simple as tea, or just cooking? She's not giving I cook vibe to me. And then her eyes kind of creep me out, though. She gives me like, you know, the like staring contest, like don't stare into my eyes kind of thing.
Yeah, because like I think one of her eyes could be lazy eyes. That's what I saw, because like the cameraman didn't go close to her, they didn't like zoom in close to her face, and I think it's because she probably has a lazy eye. You know,
maybe, I don't know. But in the scene, I'm gonna read it here. He says, in our Indian culture, men don't do this kind of thing. Remember when she asked, like, "Oh, you're gonna come in and help me," and things like that. They said it was an ancestral practice that's been going on for many years. We cannot change that. So women cook and serve food to men. women eat after. And then Jen says it's overwhelming for her right now. It's not how I expected my life to be after marrying Rishi. Well, you have to marry Rishi first to get
he ain't even claimed you.
right. You're his girlfriend, right? So
I think the conversation that her family had with her before she left is like how they were saying you don't make good choices and all this stuff. So I feel like she's hammering into him now, but she was requiring nothing of him for the past 2 years. That's what I'm saying. She was okay with them being like, whatever. Now that she's there and present, she's like, oh no, you need to tell your family now. Oh, you need to do this. I'm like, but you were okay with his behavior before now, so you should be okay now.
Right. Yeah, because she was okay being the side piece for the 2 years, right? Because his family still doesn't know that they are engaged. Mm-hmm. And she was even at the family's house and nobody noticed anything. The parents didn't notice nothing. The brothers didn't notice anything, but the sister noticed.
The sister was peeping game for sure. Yeah. She was like, why is she here? She didn't even say it nicely. Why is she here? Let's get to that.
I was just waiting for the sister to say, it's just like, what's that sparkly thing on your finger?
Well, she got a ring on?
I thought she had a ring. Maybe I'm still blind from a distance.
I have to go back and look. I'm not sure if she had on any jewelry because she doesn't want to present as if. And I think Rishi would have caught if she did have a ring. So I'm not sure that she did, but I'm not saying she did because I didn't see it. So I wasn't looking for a ring. I was just looking for what they were saying.
I thought she had a ring on because I guess because he was so quick to propose to her. I thought he would at least have money for a ring, but he's just bringing yoga mats one week, a kite the next week, and I'm just like,
no, I think it's her money. I don't think he's taking enough money to, have her in an apartment. I think she's sending money to him because he's not giving. I mean, that's all he does. I can't see that being a big money maker for his family because they take care of their family and provide for her too. So I'm not getting. He's
because he said he's a part-time model, and then he does yoga and everything else, and I'm like, you don't do anything else.
Yeah, so I think she's taking care of him as well. So I think their storyline needs to pick up too. Like either we need to see them interact with their family or we don't. But next week's episode, Jen is telling Rishi that what'd she say? She's only here on a single term visa or something like that, so she has to come back home. Yeah. So is that her way of saying, listen, I only have X amount of days left, we either get married or I don't know when you can see me again?
Basically, that's exactly what it is.
Do you think she's telling the truth though?
Probably not.
It's hard to tell.
I don't believe her. We never heard nobody else say that same visa before, so like, come on.
That's true. That's very true.
We hear about we have the visitors and we have the whatever, we have to get married within a certain amount of time. We never heard about, I have a one-time. No, stop.
That's true. You're right.
I think she probably got the one-time one because she knew for a fact that she's just like, if things don't work, she could just go back to the States type of thing. But I know her family and friends are fed up with her shenanigans because every time she meets a guy, she moves where he is.
I forgot that one.
And the guy doesn't give up anything for her, so... She can have the option of going back to the States, but I don't expect her family to be giving her a warm reception when she gets back.
Yeah, especially not her brother. Her brother is not here for that at all. All right, so what do we think about Danielle and Johan?
Okay, I'm going to sound off on Danielle, okay?
Okay.
I gotta sound off on her.
Okay.
Because she has a lot of nerve, okay?
Mm-hmm.
For someone who is I can talk today, who is in debt by 300,000, you have a lot of nerve to have demands and wave around your privilege, ma'am. Because here's the thing, you're in the Dominican Republic, you're in a totally different country. Everybody told you, including your friend that did visit, that you have to eventually work and make money or whatever. She's thinking that it's like a retirement resort, like in Florida, like in Palm Springs. It doesn't work like that. You have to work and have a job to pay for everything else. If you want that $2,000 apartment, aka condo, like, hun, you gotta work. Like, you can't expect Johan to have money to be able to pay for the rent and pay for his family and pay for that butcher shop he has.
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
Yeah, but what do we think about him being upset? And Jess, your face, you didn't know that she was in debt like that?
I must have missed that part. I'm
No,
still
it was
on the
on the
part.
episode.
I'm still on the $200 worth of peanuts. That was her red flag. She should not have got married. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
No. It was before. It was like maybe like a couple weeks ago that news came out that she filed for bankruptcy before she came over to the Dominican Republic to marry Johan. Now, I just saw her maybe yesterday talking about her haters, and she's doing what's right and everything else. We don't know her life, just on Instagram yesterday. So she's been a lot of backlash with Johan. But the problem I have with Danielle and everyone, is it everyone on the show? Everyone except Gabe and Isabel are quite a bit older than their person. And it's the ladies. And so I just don't understand why Danielle is upset that he was in a previous relationship where the lady got pregnant, whether she had a miscarriage or terminated the pregnancy. Why is that upsetting her so much?
Was it more recent than we think?
Because of the fact that Johan decided to get with a younger woman that was fertile. That was the reason. Because the reason that Johan decided to marry Danielle, and it was not because of love, he thought that there could be a sugar mama, sugar baby scenario. But he got with the wrong one, because now he's gonna eventually find out that she's in serious debt, and she left New York to be down in the Dominican Republic on false pretenses, because he could actually annul his marriage for fraudulent reasons, because she never disclosed to him on her financial situation. She was selling him a dream that never really existed.
I don't think Johan will get to that point. If it does, it's already done that kind of thing with Johan. And he don't have the type of cash to do that anyways. He's already struggling feeding his family and with the butcher shop. So, but that's true. She did sell him a dream, but I still don't understand why she was just so upset. I understand you said because, it was someone younger, there was someone that was fertile, and Danielle is having an issue with that now. But that was then, just like he said last week's episode. I don't talk to you about your past, so what's the big deal? So
she has plenty of skeletons in her closet, and the reason that she got mad at Johan is just to deflect from the fact that still the focus wouldn't be on her and what she does, because we still don't know how much money she still has in the Dominican and how much she could survive on, because I don't think it will be a lot of months she could survive on with the money that she brought to the Dominican anyway.
Well, if she was used to paying rent in New York, I'm sure that her money will go. She can't look at that apartment she was looking at, but her money will go much further, because just the cost of living difference is extreme. So I feel like if you are paying rent and paying your bills in New York for 3 months, that will take you for a whole year in the Dominican Republic. There's no reason why I wouldn't.
Well, she's having a hard time. She's definitely having a hard time. And one thing too with Danielle is she demasculates him, talking about, you're going to be my wife, things like that. And I think that's a problem. And even though Johan, doesn't know a whole lot of English, you can see it on his face. You know what I'm saying? When she's talking to him and the way he's, the things that she's saying. And then I think he's there for the meantime. I don't see this relationship as a long haul relationship to me.
No.
Whether it be on his side, which I'm tipping the scale more, or her side, you know what I'm saying? Because I think she wants more from Johan than he can give her. At least Danielle knew about this situation before she got over there. But now she's acting, because they went from Love in Paradise to 90 Day the Other Way, that she's all of a sudden surprised that, oh, you can't help me with this? You can't help me with that? You know what I'm saying? And then bringing up the past to have some type of argument or find a reason why he would be lying to her. And I don't take that as him lying to her. It just didn't happen to come up until you brought it up.
So I think the issue, from my perspective, the issue of that conversation is you sat there in front of me and told my friend something we never talked about. That's the only issue I see here. Because if I'm sitting down with Vince and he talking to my friend, oh yeah, I did this, and I'm like, hold on, you telling somebody else that we ain't even had that conversation. That's news to me.
That's true, but think about the demasculation thing.
I completely agree with that. When she said, you want to be my esposa, I was looking at her really crazy.
So maybe this was his way of telling someone else in a different scenario who speaks fluent Spanish as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his reason. Yes, they could have talked about it before, but I just don't understand why she was so upset about. I don't consider it a lie from him, just something we didn't get around to telling each other, I guess.
Well, that's what happens when you don't know somebody but 7 months before you get married.
That's true. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, because even her friends were saying the same thing. It's just like, yeah, you know him where you guys do the romp in the sheets when you are in the Dominican, but do you know him as a person, as a man? Do you know his strengths? Do you know his weaknesses? Do you know like what his dreams are? Do you know what his goals are? You don't know none of that. You just go like, oh, a tall, beautiful, dark man. Oh my God. Yeah, that's all you're on. And then when the rose-colored glasses come off and he's trying to do some side hustles, and you are just like trying to lay on the beach, eat mangoes, and drink coconut water, because apparently that's what you want to do. Because you think the Dominican is Palm Springs all of a sudden.
Yeah, but Johan still has to work. She can retire to the beach all she wants to. Johan still has to provide for his family. That's the bottom line. And that's something she's not taking into account. Like she thinks all of a sudden it's going to stop. He comes from a culture where that's never going to stop. Look at the cultures around the world. They still send money back to their friends and family too. So I just don't understand. Again, I know I say it a lot, but I don't understand why they don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even with nobody outsider. You just think that to do your research, know the culture. If you want to be with somebody, this is what they do. You know, it's outside of what you do. That's what they do. But anyway,
you gotta have that conversation before you're with a person. Doesn't matter if it's someone from another background. Because I know for myself, I always have that conversation with any of my exes. I'm like, this is how it goes with my culture. You know, like I'm gonna be there taking care of my mom regardless, because I'm her only next of kin. I'm her caregiver. I'm like, if you don't want to understand that, like, you will go, because she was there for me when I was sick with every single thing under the sun, from like seizures to Crohn's disease before she got sick with dementia. Like, it's just a thing. It's just like some people, they have parents that looks like as soon as they hit 21, they just boot them out of the house, and not realizing that like generational family members have to stay and take care of the older relatives. Is sometimes it just how it works, because you can't send a parent to a senior's home, because the senior's home, they would treat the parents a lot worse.
A lot of them do. But let's move on from that. Let's go to Chris and Jamie.
Oh my Lord, that Chris has so much stuff going on. She makes my health issues look like Candyland. Okay. All of a sudden, I see this woman lying down on Jamie, going like, "Oh my God, I hurt it all over." Da, da, da. Ma'am, you were in a car accident 20 years ago. Okay. Why did we get the surgery?
Well, I understand being scared for surgery. I understand I've had many surgeries along the way. I understand being scared, but I still had to do it to extend my life, you know? But Chris, first of all, she shouldn't even have come to Columbia right now.
No,
she should have just waited. I mean, they could have talked it out. I know they have trust issues, but I mean, she's got too much going on, whether it be her neck, her back. What's the song? My neck, my back.
All of it.
My neck, my back.
You know, her core issues. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with Chris is like her neck, her back, and then it's just like, well, Jamie, I don't like the fact that someone punched you in the face and took your phone and everything else. And I'm like, ma'am, you're Gumby right now. You can't do much. Who are you gonna fight? You can't fight anybody. You're a broken Jedi. Stop.
She got the knives.
Well, you got to lunge with the knife. You got to lunge.
Ready with the knives, though.
Okay, Jason Voorhees.
I think it's something wrong with her. I think something up. I think it's some other skeletons in the closet. How you got narcolepsy, your spine? Like, there's no way you could live like how you could tell she was down for the count in pain when that doctor came.
Yeah,
there's no way you want to live like that for 20 years. There's no way. I couldn't do it. Like,
exactly. It's like, because I even brought up to a few other bloggers, and when I was talking with Gio and the rest of the panel, I was just like, I go, don't y'all have like Medicaid and everything else? They're like, oh yeah, we got Medicaid and this, that, whatever. And I'm like, okay, listen, I'm from Canada. We only just got OHIP. Like, y'all got like 10 different insurance things. We just got one. So if I have to do a major surgery, my butt's going to do surgery.
Well, the point is with Chris, though, she's retired military, so she has insurance just from that alone.
Yeah, she got VA insurance. She's good.
I mean, I have, and I work for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the point is, I mean, like you said, Jazz and Rory, all her ailments from first of all, the narcolepsy. That's number one. You can't drive yet narcolepsy.
No.
So how are they going to get around?
No.
That's one. Two, she's not going to be able to turn her neck, not to be sexually implicit, but when it comes to whatever they do, she may not be able to do that either. You know what I'm saying?
That was the same thing I brought up when I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, hun, when you were numbing that cookie jar, your neck was fine. Your neck was fine. Your neck, your back was perfect when you're being a cookie monster. So quit playing.
And just the regular day to day. I know my mind took it there, but I was like, wait a minute, that seems like it's going to be a problem. But the point is, she just came over with too many health concerns. Apparently Jamie didn't know about these. Only thing she knew about was that narcolepsy.
Yeah,
because she didn't bother telling Jamie the rest of the stuff. And even Jamie said, and her friend said, is like, why didn't Chris tell you about a lot of this stuff sooner? Like, because I even brought up, is just like, hey, when you first meet someone, you don't tell them everything, but if you have health issues, you just have to have a conversation, and it has to be up to the other person if they want to stay or go.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't do this by surprise. And plus, Gabe has to go back to work soon. I think she has maybe a week left on her vacation.
Well,
before she goes back.
Last week she said 30 days, so it depends on where production is. Still, is getting close for her to go back. But the issue too is, remember they said that she was ghosted before.
Yeah, because
So what do you think?
I can't wait till the other woman pops up. I'm waiting for it. That's the only reason I'm watching.
You think she's gonna pop up from Texas? Did I miss the clip, or is it something?
I don't know if she's gonna pop up, but it's gonna be some sort of correspondence between her and Chris at some point, or she gonna find out, oh, you still been texting her, girl. When the narcolepsy hit and she go to sleep, she's texting the other girl probably.
She's waiting for Chris to fall asleep, and then she's just on her phone.
Yeah,
like on her phone. Let me just go jump on camera real quick. She's on her phone like this, talking to the person.
Rory. But you know what? With narcolepsy, you could go to sleep anytime. That's the point. Anytime. They can't control when they're gonna fall asleep. That's why they're not supposed to drive. I got a story about someone with narcolepsy. Not that I know her, but
you think Jamie doesn't have the side eye and watching when Chris falls asleep, so she could go reach out to the lady in Texas? Come on now.
I don't know. But I'm gonna need Jamie to stop crying. Though I need Jamie to stop being so overly sensitive to the situation. I need her to know that she'll be okay. She was okay before Chris got there. She'll be okay when Chris goes back to Alabama. But do we think that Chris is gonna come back? That's the issue. Do we think she's coming back?
No, I hope that Jamie got the other girl on the way there when Chris leaving.
Exactly.
Goodbye, Chris. We're not interested. You got too many problems.
Okay.
And she's just weird. She's super weird. Like the knife in the store thing did it for me. I was like, oh no, she's nuts. I'm good.
Listen, I thought that she was because I even said, I'm like, listen, she's going on like a Jedi inside that store.
Yeah.
Like she's just stabbing here, there, and everywhere. And I'm just like, okay, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, it was weird.
And then she was talking about, she's like, oh, I had over 100 knives in my place, and I had a couple ice picks. Ma'am.
That's right.
Why do we have 100 knives in our house and a couple ice picks?
And she live in Alabama. It don't even get like super cold there to the point where you should have ice picks like that. Like it's creepy. I'm sorry. Something's wrong with her. I feel like there's a mental disconnect. Something is up. And I'm not going to stay around to find out what it is.
There is some switch that's a little off with her.
For sure. I got that too when we first saw her too. But let's move to Gabe and Isabel. And was last night's episode rated R or whatever? Because that masterclass that he gave, I appreciate, for one, that Gabe is given the background. He's not afraid to say X, Y, and Z. But I'm not sure if I wanted to personally know all that information. You know?
Well, because I think it was just like, it was 90 Day Fiance the other way after dark. Because even on Pillow Talk is just like Alex from Lauren and Alexi, he was just like, wow, they're really digging deep in this conversation about the eggplants. Because even Kenny or Armando was just like, huh?
I'm going to have to go back and watch it. Like I said, I can appreciate him being open and honest and transparent. And I'm not saying that, I didn't learn something, because I did, but I don't think us, the viewer, need to know those type of details.
We don't need to know everything.
I don't think so. Do y'all think
so? Yeah, it was a lot. It was very educational. Things I think the TLC's point is to like showcase like diversity and and I feel like a lot of people, it's things that they wonder about, but they don't know in what space to ask that. So he just summarized the whole thing for us. So thank you for that, Gabe. But I could have lived without knowing all the very details. But I found it interesting that I didn't realize how he said his urethra was closed. A lot of risk.
He had a lot of complications. And I was like, wow, he's lucky that he's even here. And who was taking those pictures? All right, Rory, you may not know, but I'm on a health journey too. It'd be 2 years I was diagnosed with cancer in May.
Okay.
But were nobody taking no pictures of me when I had all them IVs and the drainage bags and all the things that I had in the hospital? You know what I'm saying?
I hate to tell you, somebody auntie is posting their nephew on Facebook right now like that, because that's the only pictures I see on Facebook. It's somebody in the hospital looking crazy. A picture. Oh, pray for my nephew, y'all. That's who takes those pictures.
Yeah, because the thing is, I do see it on Facebook all the time.
Thank you.
For me, when I had my Crohn's flare up, because I have been having Crohn's for 10 years, right? This year. I did updates for some of my friends on Facebook because everybody I knew lived in different cities. So instead of just waiting for each person to come and visit from wherever they are, I'm just like, okay, here's the update. Like right now it's X, Y, and Z and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But I don't expect people to take pictures of me while I'm sitting in the hospital. I'll just send a little blurb update video just to make sure, just to let you know that I'm okay.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. But all those pictures, it's good that he's got documentation. Like I said, since we had a master class to see what happened, the complications. And I'm glad everything was okay. But, when he apologized to his mother and his grandmother, I thought that was cute. For giving all the details of the sex life.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot to take in. And like I said, I learned a lot. But, is Sharon says, inquiring minds want to know. We kind of were forced to know, so I didn't really want to know. But as long as it's working for him and they enjoy the relationship, that's the point. I just want them to get to the relationship part of it, meeting her family. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of him being over there, because we're going all the way around the block,
but not meeting our family.
Right. So it's kind of taking away from their storyline a little bit to me. Now,
because the thing is that eventually he has to go meet with the children, right?
He's been with the children. The children are in the house with him.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
It's her parents and her side of the family that he needs to meet. So I'm just like, when are we gonna get to that? I hope it doesn't get to the very last episode and be we have to wait for the next season.
Cliffhanger, yeah.
Let's just get it. So, but I'm happy they're happy. She's accepting of him and all that, and if they like it, I love it. I'm cool with it. I don't see nothing wrong. If he didn't tell me he was trans, I wouldn't at first knew. Maybe I along the lines, maybe, but not in the beginning. No. So.
I didn't even notice until he mentioned it. He's like, by the way, I'm trans. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. He's short too. He's short. I was like, oh, he's a little short guy.
I just want to know, me and Vince wanted to know who that tattoo on his leg was. Was it Frankenstein? You got to go back to the episode.
I did see the tattoo. It didn't remind me of Frankenstein. It reminded me of something that was a little demonic. Didn't give me Frankenstein at all because it had horns. It looked like it had horns. I'm not sure.
Oh, I didn't see the horns. It just looked like, that's what I saw. What is that?
Do it again. Right. So I don't know. But next week's episode, we're going to see him sitting down with his friend. Now, I don't know if his friend lives there all the time in Colombia or he just so happens to be there too.
I think he just probably just happened to be there because I don't think he mentioned any of his friends living down there.
Oh, okay. But the point, I mean, like I said, we need to get past all the fluff with them. Let's get to the family so we can see how they're going to interact. And if, Isabel has to make the decision, like she said, is it going to be him or your family? So because
it could be the Kenny and Armando situation where we didn't even meet Armando's parents until like the second last episode.
True. Know? That's true. That's very, very true. All right. So the final person we have is Debbie and Osama. Debbie is finally made it to Morocco. Did you see the look on Debbie's face? Was she just not like, rainbows and unicorns and just
definitely
candy and just sparkles everywhere.
She was just like rainbows, unicorns, and sparkles, and just the flags, just like every other flag. But the thing is just like she's gonna get probably a rude awakening, and her son was trying to warn her about this. It's like, Ma, it's fine that you love the fluff and everything else with the relationship, but like he's still 24 and you're still 67, like there's no way around it because he is creepy as hell. Because did you see him hold that cat and that cat got scared?
Yeah, he's creepy too. There's a lot of creepy people on this show. It seems like he's creepy with the eyes. Chris is creepy with the eyes. Jen is creepy with the eyes, in my opinion. Yeah.
that like he was holding that cat, and that poor cat looked scared. The poor cat's like, "Okay, let me go. Let me leave."
Yes, because kittens are rambunctious. Kittens are normally all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think, Jazz? What do you think about Debbie and her rainbows and sprinkles and cupcakes and unicorns while she was looking at her man?
I thought it was, you know how like they say like when someone's lying, they like say something and look away. Like every time, like what's his name?
Osama.
Yeah. Osama. Mom, you had me messed up last time because you said Mahmoud. And I was like, why she keep saying Mahmoud? And I was like, thrown off.
Sorry.
Okay. No, because I noticed Osama every time he would say something, even during his confessional, when he would say something, he would look away.
Yes.
Like he'll look in a totally different direction because he didn't want the camera to focus on the left side of his face because I don't know if his jaw got jacked up.
He missing some teeth at 24.
Pardon?
It looked like he missing some teeth at 24.
Yes. I thought I was tripping, or I had too much of the special herbs. But like I'm looking, I'm just like, y'all missing teeth?
He is missing teeth. But you know what? I'm gonna give him a pass on the teeth thing because in different countries they have different types of hygiene that they're not able to take care of. So I'm giving him a pass on that. But yes, he's missing teeth, and he's a skateboarder, so maybe he fell on his face, his jaw a time or two.
Yeah. I think that he's a liar is what I think. Because every time he says something, what he says sounds all like romantic and nice. And she's like, oh, Osama. Oh, she keeps doing that. But like he says something sweet. Oh, Debbie, I love you. The love of my life. Looks away immediately. I'm like, this is giving inauthentic to me.
Yeah, because like she was trying, he gave her the side hug. Like the side hug with the pat on the back.
Yeah. It was like they was at church. It was uncomfortable.
And why did he tell her close your eyes when he had the flower in his hand? Close your eyes. I'm like,
that flower was raggedy.
Raggedy. He picked that flower on the way
there on the side of the road.
He did. Debbie says
because we know he doesn't work because he says he's an artist and
That's
he's
true.
a poet. When he was reciting one of his poems, I'm just like, what?
Dark poetry. Isn't it dark poetry? It comes across
No,
like
I thought it was dark poetry, but she was going on like he said he was doing slam poetry, and I'm like, no. Slam poetry is supposed to be happy, not that dark.
Debbie says, you're my strange beautiful. They both said it, so that's what she likes. He says, I love you just for you being yourself. He also said, when Debbie come outside from the airport, it was an image like the sun. Remember he said that? He said, I only saw her walking and make all things around her like an angel. Everything doesn't exist, just her. An angel come from the heavens to Morocco. I said, okay, you claiming you're a woman, but
that angel was to save him and give him some money.
Okay? He broke
boy.
Yeah, he broke. But next week though, I'm like, here comes the what's the word I'm looking for?
The other shoe.
The other shoe to drop. Yeah, when he said he only wants her here for a month or two. And
but he doesn't know that she's gonna be there forever. I'm pointing out, thank you very much.
And
clearly these people are not actually having full conversations about anything is what I'm getting. Like these people is having like relationships that y'all could have just stayed in the US and just had an internet relationship and called catfish in 10 years like everybody else. I mean,
listen,
these are not real relationships.
Listen,
right.
We got to call Neve and Cammy just to be able to do the catfish.
Seriously.
For real.
Yep. And Debbie says, so you want me to go back to the United States? Osama said, yep. And she says, you lied to me. I'm like, oh my goodness. She hadn't been there 24 hours. And I'm like, so who's going to come home first? Debbie, Nicole, or Chris?
Debbie.
Who do we think is coming home first?
Debbie. Then I think Chris and Nicole come out home at the same time. Next episode.
Yeah, Debbie's coming home first.
Okay.
Debbie about to go right back to the airport.
And the thing is, the first thing she's gonna do is call her son, and her son will be just like, Ma, I told you.
I don't think she's gonna call her son just for that reason alone. I don't think so. But I'm just curious to know where Debbie's gonna stay for the month or two, like I mentioned last week, since he's staying with his family, and his family seems to be a traditional Moroccan family that have the same type of cultural thing that's going on, like in Egypt, that's around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder how that's gonna work. Because did you notice that Debbie, when she came, she had on long sleeves. She had on a long sleeve shirt and a skirt that went all the way down to her ankles. So she's kind of in dress code still. She just doesn't have the head cover. So I noticed that about Debbie.
It looked like a muumuu to me that she had on.
No, either way, it was still long sleeve into her ankles, right?
Yeah, which is fine. Like she didn't show off any skin. The most skin she showed off was probably her neck and a little bit of her arms.
What do you think, Jess?
What?
I think she dresses very tacky, in my opinion. So I mean, she's doing better than Nicole. She's following the status quo, but the outfit was not outfitting. At least Nicole. I'm still mad at Nicole because I think that sorry to switch it, but if Mahmoud was saying that he would like his uncle owns a factory and like she was trying to create like a business there with like modest fashion that's actually fashion that she likes. I thought that's a dope idea. I feel like he was kind of like, I feel like that was compromised a little bit. Like, because he's like, all right, let's get you some money going in. Like you care about fashion, but at the same time, like we still need to follow these certain rules. So I feel like that was him showing compromise in my opinion, but.
Okay. But the thing is like her version of compromising is just to kind of control everything. And then maybe they'll have a compromising conversation, you know? Yeah. Not like a 100% conversation, but just like maybe they'll kind of compromise in the eyes of Nicole, right? Which is her compromise is just like, well, we need to do everything this way, like how I would do it in the States. Honey, you're not in the States. You are in Egypt. And
yeah, she knows that.
It's a totally different ball game when you are in countries like that, especially Middle Eastern countries. It's just like
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing. You can't just like throw your weight around just because you can. Just because you're an American, as Angela would say.
True. So what are we looking forward to seeing next week before we wrap this up? What are we looking forward to see? You want to go first, Jess?
I gotta think about it because I'm kind of over all these people, and I feel like everything that I want to see, they're not showing us yet.
What do you want to see?
I want to see the parent meet up with Gabe and Isabel. I just remembered her name this time.
Okay.
I want to see Nicole get on a plane and stop going back and forth like an idiot.
Someone said she worked for DoorDash. I think I may have heard that on Gio's
yeah,
channel.
she worked.
I can see that.
She delivered pizzas.
That's right.
I can see that. And what else? I want to see something happen with like Danielle and Johan. Either her going back. I just want everybody to go home at this point.
Right.
The only people that can say is Gabe. Everybody else go home and hit the reset button because this is not it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Rory? What do you want to see before we wrap it up?
I want Danielle to go home and face the music because she owes Uncle Sam quite a lot of money. $350,000. I want her to face the music because the thing is she has to go back to work to pay off everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because Johan's gonna leave her because he wants to be able to be with a girl that he could have a child with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's sick of this old woman and her demands because who does a 12-step beauty regimen when you only work for not much money per month? I think it made barely $2,000.
I don't know.
I think it was less than that because he told her he could give her $50 towards the rent, and I was like,
I was rolling when I heard that. I was rolling.
So maybe it's $200. Maybe he makes $200 a month.
Yeah, he's something. That's the best he can do. Because he told her he had to help his family first. So anything left over is what she gets. So I don't think she should even expect more. Personally, that's just me. All right. So what else?
Yeah, because he said the most he could give her is like $90.
Oh, okay.
And I was in tears, laughing.
That's on Danielle, though. All right. Well, who else? What do you want to see next week? So Debbie, I want to see Debbie and Osama for sure. I want to see that a little bit more of her because we're not getting her at all. Like I said, she just got there a month after everybody else has been over where they've been. It seems like. So I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see how they would interact, especially going for somewhere to eat. Like I want to know where they will be staying. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
if they're gonna stay with his family. If she's gonna stay at an Airbnb, like where's she staying at?
Right.
Because I know they can't stay together in the same house.
Right. That's true. I also want to see. I know Nicole is played out, but I want it to be wrapped up next week with his family telling Mahmoud what she needs to do. And I want her to just, be like, I can't do this and storm off and be done. Because honestly, there's nothing else she is bringing to the show. They're not progressing. She don't want to be in the family compound. And so what else is there to do? Because he's not leaving. So
exactly. He doesn't want to come to America. And she's thinking that she's still in America, but guess what? You're in Egypt,
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I want to see. So really that was the end of the episode. Maybe we'll see if Jen visa is up next week and Debbie find out where she's gonna be staying and Nicole get her feelings hurt one more time.
You know what? I think that with Nicole and Mahmoud, it might just be how he was raised, because how he said, like, oh yeah, some people do those things, but we don't. Because like I have one of my sorority sisters lives in Cairo and she's been there for at least 5 or 6 years. And she does say like men will like ignore her, but she's never brought up the fact about I have to be completely covered. So I think it just may be him and his folks and how they operate, and that's just what it is.
Oh, okay. Could be. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I'll be back on Thursday night for Married at First Sight for those of you who watched Married at First Sight live. So thank you, and I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.